Hey, welcome to Footy Prime Summertime Edition. There's 4 of us because 2 are away. Dubs and Sharms are on. Dubs is busy, busier than normal, that she can't make the show. And our friend James Sharman is on a week hiatus, holiday time, out east. I think he shared with us yesterday, so we can say that again. On the show right now, Craig Forrest, Jimmy Brennan, and JC and the Sunshine Band. What we have coming up for you is a little Asa Rehman out from the West Coast, getting up early for us. Thank you, Asa. And later this week, Carl Lang jumping on. And Monday, our friend Nate Ingham is jumping on with us.
Nice.
Ottawa Atletico. I think I'm saying it properly. Atletico's longest, most games. Ottawa's player with the most games now. And player of the month in July, I think. So, Craig, you missed that when you were in Vancouver or BC. So, lots of awards for Nate. And I saw somewhere that all of his teammates did a congratulations at the beginning of the match and did a video for him. So he received that at the beginning of the match. So that's pretty cool.
Nice. You just spilled coffee all over yourself there, Jimmy?
Yeah, I did.
Wrong color.
We had Tom Bogert on yesterday, and he was filling us in on some of the TFC things. But, you know, Ace is jumping on to talk Whitecaps. Jimmy's internet is going crunchy again. But the Whitecaps have had so many, like it's been a very stalwart season so far, Craig, but lots of kind of changes in a way. Vite, I think it was Vite, just like got up and left and signed a new contract with a Mexican team in Liga MX, and then all of a sudden, Müller is signed.
What's Müller?
Müller. What are you thinking of? Where does that all fit in? I want your take on how you think this all fits in with the ownership, with the Müller of it all, with the second place right now, only a point behind San Diego. What does this mean for Vancouver Whitecaps that they're running with a Müller?
Well, it's something we haven't really seen sort of at that scale of a signing from Vancouver before. We know they're up on the chopping block to be sold. I'm not sure if that had anything to do with it. I mean, he's an unbelievable player over his career. He's 35. He'll be 36 in September, I think. So he's on the back end, but he still has plenty to offer. Right up to the end of his career over in Germany, he's always been a player that's been involved and can get involved and change games and adapt to just about any type of style, play off people, bring other people involved, leadership role, perfect professional. I think it's going to be exciting times for Vancouver and a great opportunity for them to do something pretty special this year. Although other teams are doing the same thing. They're strengthening as well.
Well, that was it. It's now official. Hyun-Min Sung signs with LAFC. And, you know, you're talking about, I'm not sure what a bigger play. Oh, yeah, you're a Tottenham fan. I forgot. So what I was thinking, though, was Sun is only a couple years younger than Müller. They're still in their prime, as Tom was talking about yesterday. Müller a little less, but Sun still kind of being productive. Who has the bigger impact? And we'll ask Asa this because Jimmy's internet is not working right now. Who has the bigger impact in the next 2 months?
I would say Sun. I would say Sun, only because I think he's at a top level still, where Müller, I think, is just on the downside. If he was still able to compete and with the demands of European football and the pressures of being a Bayern Munich player, I think he'd still be there. To be honest, but I think that his age.
Why not Sun? Why not Sun the same approach?
Well, being I think Sun's 32 and
33, yeah,
33. I mean, I think he's still looks as sharp as he ever has. I don't see any downside to him at the moment. it'll happen. But I think he's bang on and in the still in his prime at his age of 33.
Well, I think with LAFC too, just because the last few years they've been one of the stronger teams in the West, the space that he creates can change a game and change the rest of the team's kind of approach to everything. What's your like? Is that going to be his hallmark? Is the space he creates, as well as probably potting a few?
Well, you remember when Harry Kane and him were at Spurs at the same time, and then Harry Kane left.
Brilliant.
And then they're wondering, well, okay, how is that going to work? Because they work very well as a tandem, playing off each other, coming deep. One will go to feet. They just really had a really good partnership. And he excelled without Kane. So it shows you, I don't think it matters. He's just such an intelligent player and another great professional that I think he'll adapt very well to Major League Soccer and he'll just continue on without missing a beat.
It's interesting to me too. We were talking about it. We mentioned it a little bit yesterday, was the marketing of it all with LA, Koreans in California, Koreans in LA, actually. This is maybe the perfect squad for him to land, right? Like as an MLS team, and not that far. It's a LA to South Korea is a flight, right?
Yeah. No, yeah. I was thinking when we played Korea in Los Angeles a couple times, and they didn't come out in their droves. Not then.
Right.
But I think they will for Son, because he's on.
Well, Craig, in the 1950s when you played Korea, they were still bringing people over on boats. It was a lot harder back then.
Well, that's right.
I think there was only one Korea at that time.
That's right.
Too.
They were unified.
Right. They were unified.
Yeah.
There were
still
probably border issues too in the late 50s.
Oh, yeah. There is now.
We had, I wanted to get your take on this kind of we used the term redemption arc yesterday for TFC, and whether this, they get rid of the Italians, and I was talking about this a little bit yesterday and about hopefulness. They get rid of the Italians, free up tons of space. Bernadeschi does a great video. Our friend Dave DeCola sent it to us on the Footy Prime supporters dark web, and he just said, he didn't have to do this. Bernadeschi, I thought, $5 million a year. Yes, he didn't blow up like we would have wanted him to in Toronto, but still a strong player and wants to play for the Italian team. But this kind of clearing house and then bringing in Georgie all of a sudden, it does seem like that ambition, as you were talking about yesterday, is hitting home and could be hitting home and make at least the end of this season palatable for TFC Red supporters.
Yeah, as well as it's a big boost as far as what's going to happen next year with the club. And yes, they still have ambitions and they will spend money, not always getting that right, but from time to time they have. So I think this is a good move. I think Bernadeschi got sort of pulled into the Insigne thing. I think if Insigne was playing at the same level as Bernadeschi was, or certainly effort-wise, it'd probably be a different situation right now. And Bernadeschi might still be here. I never had any problem with him, really. But he got kind of grouped.
You didn't have I thought you had a personal issue with Bernadeschi. Allegedly.
No, he came over. I mean, talk about it's completely different players, sort of personality wise. Bernadeschi came in and sort of really got into the sort of culture of Toronto and the sports scene with all the other teams and being seen around. And yeah, I thought he didn't have any trouble adapting to that, whereas Insigne completely struggled with that, which we've seen with other players. Jermaine Defoe same type of thing.
Well,
I thought he
I-
would have been brilliant, but he did not settle.
I was gonna go with that. Like, what was a bigger disappointment? The Italians, and I want both of them, or Defoe. And Jimmy, you can.
I was saying Insigne for the money, because Defoe was on a good contract, but nothing like Insigne was. So, putting that all things equal, the money side of things, Insigne would be worse. But the bloody big deal of Jermaine Defoe was a disaster, and I could have got caught up in that too, because I thought that was a really good signing. But you can never tell when they, as somebody who's lived their entire life in the UK and that knowing that football culture and how it is and how he adapted to coming over here, it never happened.
Yeah, that definitely didn't work. Sorry, I was channeling
trying
Dubs there.
Trying to be a Dubs. Jimmy, what was a bigger disappointment? The Defoe era or the Italians era?
Definitely Insigne.
Yeah.
Insigne, for sure. That's the biggest disappointment, I think, overall. Just work ethic. I mean, couldn't finish a game. Nothing was good with that signing.
Couldn't finish a hot dinner.
No, not at all. Not at all. The thing is with Jermaine Defoe, I mean, I remember watching him in training because I was coaching at the time, and he was absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable finisher.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. Like, he just couldn't settle. And obviously he ends up going back to the UK, went back to Sunderland, played an awful lot of games for Sunderland, Bournemouth, went to Rangers. He still had an awful lot in the tank, but he just couldn't settle here in North America.
Yeah, that's interesting to me. Just that it was a cultural thing almost, right? Like, hey, what he's used to, because that he, to your point, Jimmy, had so many games left in him.
Oh yeah, lots. Yeah,
well, that's the thing about that is that you can do all your due diligence and look into players and their character and all these different things, and still got caught out because what seems to be good, and then they can say all the right things and be happy for the move, and then when it comes down to it, they don't know themselves, and then they get caught up in it, and they're just like, oh, not happy and can't settle, and so it's always there's an element of risk to anything like that. I think of a guy like Müller, for instance, at his age, that's completely different because he knows he's not going back to a top 5 league again. This is gonna be an enjoyable experience for him, and where he hopes he can be successful.
Yeah.
Jimmy, you were away with internet issues, tech issues, while Craig made his choice. But the question was, who's going to have a bigger impact on their new team? Mueller with the Whitecaps or Son with LAFC, as that has now become official?
I think Mueller. I think he's going to have a huge impact. It's like what I said before. I mean, what is it? 42 goals in 24 games that the Whitecaps have produced this year. They can score goals. They can set goals up. They're very good going forward, attacking. So he'll get plenty of service with this Whitecaps team.
You don't think Son would be more dominant and at his age, being a few years younger, and I think a little bit more in his prime?
I think he'll have certain games. I think he'll struggle when in certain areas, whether, and don't forget, like, the elements. A lot of players struggle with the elements in North America, right? You're going from crazy humidity, the heat, altitude. There's a lot of travel. And the way that he plays, because as he gets on it, he wants to dribble, he wants to go, and I just don't think he'll be as productive as what Müller would be.
I hope you're right. Although I think Son's brilliant.
He's brilliant. He's amazing. He's so fun to watch. But I just don't know how he's the way that he plays, how he's gonna settle in LA.
Craig,
I was mentioning Wonger. I was mentioning when you were off camera there that how Son adapted with Kane, played very well with Harry Kane, and then when Harry Kane left, he still excelled at Spurs.
Yeah.
Whether he plays up front up top by himself, whether he comes into a deep positions, he seems to be able to adapt to that. That's why I thought that he would be an instant success in Los Angeles.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Look, I mean, at the end of the day, you're talking about two unbelievable players.
Yeah.
Right. Both are going to be successful. Both are going to do a good job. Look, it's a tough question. Who's going to do better than the other? I mean,
yeah.
Right. But
they both have incredible quality, and
unbelievable.
And traditionally, DPs, strikers do very well in Major League Soccer, generally speaking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, we're getting some nice comments on yesterday's show with Tom, and M King 283 was saying, for the first time in 5 years, I have something to celebrate as a TFC fan. Finally, a proven player in MLS coming to Toronto. Building any strong team in soccer usually means going straight up the spine, or in this case, the middle of the pitch, starting from goalkeeper through midfield and ending with the striker. We have a decent goalkeeper, now a good, if not great, midfielder. And with all of the contracts coming off the books, room to get a decent striker and rebuild the back line. What do you think about that comment, Jimmy?
Yeah, I think it's fair. I mean, we said it before, if you're going to get DPs, you want to go down the spine. Do they need some players to play around the new signing? Absolutely. Of course they do. So yeah, come the end of the season, they've got a lot of contracts that are going to be up, but they just got to make sure that they got the right players that are going to fit the system and be successful here.
But being a proven MLS player is a massive thing, because you know what you're going to get.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
no surprises, and
yeah,
don't expect anything.
Well, that's actually interesting, that a move from a MLS team to an MLS team with a proven player is actually probably a less risky choice than bringing in a European star. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, I mean, from the settling in point of view, we've just talked about Defoe and not settling in. So yeah, he's here to play in a Major League Soccer, and he's adapted to it, and doesn't matter what team he's playing for. He knows exactly what he's getting involved in.
If you didn't hear someone sip away at their coffee, Asa Rehman is here.
Asa!
Thanks for joining us, Asa. It's been a couple weeks, a couple minutes, maybe 3 weeks since we had you on last. And
not much has happened since then, though. So
I was going to say,
for Whitecaps fans, they haven't missed much.
Tell us telling me about the roller coaster of it was Vite who went, right? Who is now in Liga MX. And from that, because yes, that had been in the papers and people had been talking about it, but he was playing really well. He had and so from that point to the Müller, and you were all over social. You were like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Tell me about all that, which was going on, and the kind of the vibe out there. In Whitecaps.
The first time we heard about Thomas Müller potentially coming to the Vancouver Whitecaps, I was told it's not going to happen, and then things changed so quickly. To rewind a little bit, going right back to Pedro Vite, that was really tough for Vancouver Whitecaps fans to swallow. Just the fact that this player that they've invested so much in, bringing him in as a teenager, seeing him grow into the player he is now, and a pivotal part of this group. He's been so important to them this season in particular, a season where they've lost so many players because of injury. Ryan Gauld in particular, the captain, missing 5 months now. It's incredible that they've managed to stay the course and really do well this season. And Pedro Vite is a big reason why. He's been this player that can kind of unlock defenses and create things, creative young spark. And they've had other players that have kind of come in and out of the lineup. Sam Adekubi, done for the season as well. So many of these big injuries. Pedro Vite has been this player that's really kind of captured the crowd. And then, we find out that he wants to move, or they look to move him right after we'd heard that he extended with the club as well. So it was really confusing for fans. You wish him well. Such a cool young player. Starts for his national team, and excited to see him at the World Cup. But then after that, it's who's going to replace him? How are we going to find someone that can, fill that gap? knowing that players are still missing. So many players go away on international duty. Then we heard that Kenji Cabrera is going to be coming. And now Kenji Cabrera kind of gets lost in the shuffle here. Everyone talking about Thomas Müller. We still haven't seen Kenji Cabrera, but a young Peruvian player that they're pretty high on as well. And I think fans are excited to see. So a little bit different from Pedro Vite, but still a dynamic young player, 22-year-old who I think can do well in this season, in this league, and do well for the Vancouver Whitecaps. So still waiting to see what he can do for the Caps. And then we hear about Thomas Müller. And the first time I had heard about it, honestly, was in the MLS All-Star game. Commentators brought it up, and then I immediately went to the phone, started asking around what's going on here, and it was shot down pretty quickly from the people that I had talked to that, this wasn't likely, just doesn't make sense.
Who's shooting it down, though? Is it
Are you naming names? You go.
No, I don't want names, but is it people who have a vested interest, or is it people who usually know things?
Yeah, usually know things. Really tapped in for this type of deal in particular.
Okay.
So trust.
Yeah, name names. We love naming names.
So I was like, okay, and the reason it didn't make sense is because it didn't make sense sort of financially and with the roster structure that the Caps have committed to as far as DPs go. So they have the 2 DPs, and then they went the U22 route. So couldn't have a third designated player for this season. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. Doesn't really work. That Friday, I had an interview with Axel Schuster for Global BC. Friday morning, touched on so many different things, potential stadium here in Vancouver, among other things. And then that as well, obviously. So spoke to Axel about the potential of, Thomas Müller coming here. And he told me, great player, just doesn't work. That was Friday. Basically the same thing that I was told, just doesn't work with the way that they are structured and sort of the way they want to do their business, which I think a lot of fans enjoy and appreciate here. It is more getting your Pedro Vites, having them develop, making a profit, and reinvesting, and kind of going that younger route with a strong core as well of Andres Cubas, Ryan Gauld, Brian White. That seems like the setup that's worked well here for Vancouver. So everything I was hearing from Axel made sense. Yep, all good. And then for whatever reason, like 24 hours later, this is the next morning, Saturday morning, the Caps play that night, and everything had changed. I'm seeing that, this is a reality. This could really happen. There's a great chance that Thomas Müller could come to the Vancouver Whitecaps. So get back to the sources again. Start, what's going on here, trying to figure it out. And then the tune had changed. And the difference was the demands, the wage demands, and the difference in like the financial setup, I guess, for the Thomas Müller deal. So financially, it changed so much, and that's what made sense for the Vancouver Whitecaps. And then shortly after that, then we're hearing this is going to happen. Fast forward to today, and it's still not over the line as far as I know, but essentially done. So it's more just the paperwork and then the official announcement from the Vancouver Whitecaps that we're waiting on that could be released by the time we get this episode out. So I'm anticipating something today, Wednesday, like as far as an official announcement comes from the club. But that's the last thing that we're waiting for. And then hopefully seeing Thomas Müller in person about a week from now in Vancouver.
So he's not up in the Kokanee area with Bigfoot or Sasquatch or hanging out or anything like that. He's still over in Europe.
Yes.
As far as
there's been video of him at Bayern training. So that's a little bit interesting as well, because usually when you have a player moving, particularly for a transfer, they're pulled out of training. They're pulled out of practice, right? So I think that was also concerning maybe for Whitecaps fans. Why is this guy practicing with the other team when we are expecting to see him suiting up for the Caps any day now?
It's interesting to me, too, that what we've learned from this whole discussion is that Asa's sources are liars.
No, not at all. Not at all. I think the sources I think definitely knew what was going on. I do think that much changed with this situation. It was the financial side
It
of
was
it.
the money.
Yeah, it was the money, right? So I think that everything was correct up until that Friday, and then whatever happened as far as the demands go on the financial side, that's what made it make sense. And then, for what you're getting, I think that's incredible value. I'm so curious to see the next thing that I'm waiting to see is the actual impact it has as far as bums and seats go at BC Place.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen, Forrest and I were at BC Place watching Lionel Messi in front of 50-some thousand, and it's incredible. It's absolutely wild. Like, that stadium's amazing when it's packed. And is Thomas Müller the type of player that takes it to that level? I'm waiting to see, because I think for so long, and we've talked about it on the show, soccer snobs are always saying, it's at this level, and we need to have that big time player. It doesn't really get much bigger than Thomas Müller. So are those people going to now show up and be at the stadium? And does it take it over the edge? Does this become a place where you get 50,000 for every game?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot, I know, but
I don't see that happening. Not at that level. He's not going to have. He won't have the Messi effect.
No. I mean,
but are you thinking, Asa? What are you thinking? Like, what is? I'm trying to remember. I looked it up a couple weeks ago. Was Whitecaps attendance at BC Place, and I think it's in the 25 around there. 25.
I think just lower than that average.
20, 24 a game or something.
I mean, I'm there. We're announcing it. It's in the 20s every time. 21, 22. Pretty consistently now. It's been a very good season.
What's your, if you're thinking optimal, what is their optimal number for more bums in the seats, and what is, hey, that's still a good number, and what's disappointing?
I think selling out the lower bowl consistently, so just packing it so that there's then demand on that, which would be hitting that 25,000 every game, and then seeing if there's, I think from that you can then figure out if there's enough buzz, interest to open up the upper bowl, and then I don't know, get to 30, 40.
Do you think that's what the organization is like expecting or hoping for, that they would have to open up the top tier?
Don't know. I've been told that there has been an uptick in ticket sales since this has been linked, rumored, like right away.
It's the sources.
Sources say.
Yeah, but you think even if he pulls in a 5 to 8,000 more fans into the stadium, that's very, very good, isn't it? Like
very good.
You can get around that 30,000 mark every single match. You're going to get a huge influx of the German community coming in that support Bayern, because Bayern are known all around the world. And
Oh, Jimmy's internet is having some issues, just FYI. So I think
he looks good though. He looks good when he freezes.
Like, he does. Yeah,
that's great. I get these ones.
And so we were talking about. I didn't know you had just spoken to Axel Schuster. Is he walking around with a peacock feather in his hat right now? Because
probably the next time we see him, that'll be a swagger. He'll be
a monocle and maybe one of those big bikes with the big wheel in the front. Just like
some walkout music as well. I don't know what it would be, but he would definitely have it.
Hasselhoff.
Slow motion.
Hey, Asa, where do you think they play Müller?
That on the pitch in the starting 11 for sure. Like he's that.
Can you imagine?
I think.
Sorry, Thomas, you're gonna have to sit this one out.
Yeah. Well, I think it was funny initially. People are all over the place with this, and it's been great banter, great to discuss, great to talk about. Obviously, and people are like, how does he fit in? Like, you figure out a way to fit him in. Like, it's a no-brainer. Probably, I've seen sort of a 4-2-3-1 setup centrally as a 10 behind sort of Brian White, and then you have natural wingers on the team, whether it's Jaden Nelson, Ali Ahmed, Emmanuel Sabi in those wide areas. When Ryan Gauld returns to the fold, saw him at training again this week. He looks like he's getting closer to getting back to the group. It'll still be a while before he gets up to match fitness. But when he comes back to the fold, that'll be interesting as well. How you get sort of Thomas Mueller and Ryan Gauld on the pitch together, but you figure it out. And that's another thing I'm really excited to see, because Jesper Sorensen's been so good at that, so good at finding ways to make this stuff work. Sometimes it's going to a back three, having the wide players kind of play as added fullbacks, and then getting them bomb up the park. And yeah, it's been really cool to see Jesper Sorensen play in different setups and formations. I asked him about that in one of the broadcast calls before a match. Just asked Jesper, what's his preferred formation? If he, could pick his players and set it up the way he likes it. And he said he doesn't have a preferred formation, a preferred setup. It depends on the personality he has and the opposition that he's going up against. So he really looks to kind of utilize the best formation for that scenario, which is exciting. Obviously, when you have a player like Müller coming in who can play almost anywhere on the park.
3 weeks ago, when you were on last, we were talking about Ryan Gauld kind of returning, and it seemed imminent. Where's he at right now? Where's the team at with all their other niggles? And we know Sam Adekugbe is out for the season. Yeah. Where's their fitness right now?
Ranko is also done for the season now. So that's a really tough one. So the center back, the captain in Ryan Gauld's absence, done for the year. So that's something I imagine they're going to try to fill in this transfer window. So it's the other thing with everyone's kind of focus on Thomas Müller, there's still that area of need. And then you mentioned, Sam Adekugbe is another one. I think that left back's probably another position they're looking to add in this window. And then the main injuries, as far as players returning to fitness, it's Ali and Ryan Gauld. They're both getting closer without any clear date of return. Ali's, maybe a little bit closer to getting to the first team. His was an
that
injury.
wrecked ankle, right? At the Canada Men's, right at the
Gold Cup.
Yeah.
So the last time, he played with the Whitecaps was June 1st. Saw him, talk to him at training. Good spirits, working on his own. I think for him, it's now just getting, closer to that match fitness. The ankle looks pretty good. He's doing everything off on his own, and probably in the next week he'll be joining the first team if all goes well, and then hopefully playing shortly after that. Ryan Gauld's getting closer to training with the first team, it looks like, as well. He's been consistently doing that work on his own individual work, and it looks like it's all going well. And hopefully he's in with the first team in the next couple of weeks as well, as far as training goes. And then because he's missed 5 months, it might take a little while before he gets up to match fitness and just up to the speed of the game, obviously.
I asked Craig about how Müller fits into the stadium, how it fits into the sale of Whitecaps. What's your insight on that? Because this seems like I'm not sure if they're putting the cherry on top, or as Emmanuel Putty, the strawberry on the cake. Said. But is this like making an already good looking club look a little sparklier?
I don't know. I've been thinking about this as well a lot recently, Wong. Just the moves that they've made since announcing the team's been up for sale, for me, don't totally align with the team that's looking to move away. They look like long-term investments, and that starts with the coach, Jesper Sorensen. If you're kind of looking to just cut and sell and move on from this project, I think you keep Vanny for the extra year that he was on contract, or you promote within and you just keep it simple. You don't make any splash signings. You kind of stay afloat and try to move on from this, right? That's kind of how I picture. But the moves that they're making, very, I think, forward thinking. Even Pedro Vite doing that deal, Kenji Cabrera, that move as well, and now Thomas Müller makes me feel like they're invested in this project. And then maybe there's a lot more to this stadium deal, and as far as kind of bringing in more people on that side of things, on the ownership side, to potentially help fund the stadium if you were to go that route to have your own stadium. Everything sort of makes sense that way. You have now the splash signing. You can show that you're getting X amount of players, like so many more people rather into the stadium. You can, have this stadium and it will be profitable. And that's all very enticing for an owner or owners that are looking to invest in this project, right? That's kind of the sense that I'm getting. Curious to get kind of your guys' thoughts on this as well, because I do think that that's a really interesting piece of what's going on here.
I would agree with that, Asa. And then on the other, to play devil's advocate a little bit, is this a shiny new object to try to entice somebody to come and buy the club and show what they're doing as far as that goes, and being successful on the pitch is going to be more attractive to an owner?
Yeah, you're right. That's the other side of it, right? Is this now, making it more attractive to sell? And there's no doubt that this has increased the popularity of the brand, like globally. Like, I don't think we've ever had this sort of attention. Even going back to Davies, I think that was like you kind of mentioned the Whitecaps around that move, but he wasn't that star when he left. That is the star that Davies is now, right? It was just a young prospect coming from this team, Vancouver. This is very different, and we're seeing it, we're hearing it, getting calls, texts, messages, all the podcasts, everything locally is seeing an uptick, obviously, since this news broke. So it's great. It's great for business all around here, I think, in this country, really, right? Like, this is great. So definitely more attractive.
I mean, when you guys were at the Messi match out there, we were all watching on One Soccer and watching that match. And so, to the point of, was it good for soccer in Canada? Yes, it definitely was. And actually it was great because it focused on Vancouver and the Whitecaps, right? And you don't get that very often, where it's, like every time I think of the Grey Cup, it's the city. Like I remember last time BC hosted it. It is a big deal and it's this thing, but it's the final match. Whereas this was middle of the season. Hey, you don't know what's going to happen. It was very exciting. There was a couple other things I'm thinking about with the stadium. Have drawings been already created? No. And no, so they're not down that road yet, where they presented the architectural design or any of that kind of stuff, and the number of seats and what they'd be looking for.
No, I don't have those kinds of sources. I'm sure.
No, I know your sources, Asa. Your sources are me and Sharm sometimes. And it's like, hey, what does Forrest think? That's another question you ask. And then I think it's you doing the double Spider-Man, where you're like pointing at each other going, hey, what do you think? And it's you going, oh, I think it is. I think it's this.
Figured it out, Wonger. No drawings, no renderings yet. But maybe those are out there. Maybe those discussions are happening. Nothing that I've seen yet, Wonger.
Right.
How about a location?
Yeah.
The thing that's been rumored, and I think there's some truth to it, and the Whitecaps have said publicly as well that they've shown interest in the fairgrounds or around Hastings, P&E area.
P&E.
Oh, P&E.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is where the racetrack is. So it would presumably be where, the racetrack is now, which is a huge piece of land with everything, around it. And that would.
And historically, with the Whitecaps playing there years and years ago at Empire, that was a slam dunk. It was
exactly. And then, a lot of soccer history there as well. Across the street, there's Callister Park, which is sort of the first like big soccer field that had marquee matches, and then Empire as well, and then hopefully this is the next one because it's a great place, great venue, great area, and would be a great stadium as well.
Asa, you get to break the tie break here. So the question is, and I'm not going to tell you who said what, but the question is, who has a bigger impact, Sun or Mueller? Because Sun just signed with LAFC. Who has a bigger impact in the final third of the season?
I gotta say, like, one of my
and I know you're a homer. I know you're a homer.
Spoiler, I'm gonna homer on this call as well. But I will say that one of my favorite players to watch in MLS is Denny Wonger. Just as far as how dynamic he is, what he brings to the table. He's Messi-like as far as edge of your seat. The second he gets the ball, you figure he can do something. He can do some damage, and he's just so much fun to watch. Like, I really enjoy watching Denny Wonger. And now you have Son on the same team. I think that is going to be incredible. And same sort of thing. Like, you find a way to get those guys. You have them both on the pitch at the same time. Figure out the rest. And I think that's a problem. Like, that's going to be a handful for teams to deal with. That being said, Muller's going to have bigger impact.
A big that being said.
Yeah. Because recently I watched back the Portland match, the Portland playoff game where the Whitecaps had to go to Portland and play and put on a clinic. And Stuart Armstrong was incredible in that game. And the thing that stood out about watching Stuart Armstrong play is just how quickly he processes things and how clean his touch is, and he simplifies it so much. And that game, he just looked like he's on another level, bringing it down, flicking it over the defender for Ryan Gauld to volley home, like just crazy stuff. And it was incredible to watch. And then you figure Thomas Müller, I think there are some similarities there, but just 10 times better than Stuart Armstrong. No disrespect to Stuart Armstrong, but Müller's on another level, obviously. And if, when he's able to do that with the Vancouver Whitecaps, I think that Brian White, Ali Ahmed, Ryan Gauld, Emmanuel said everyone's going to benefit. And the attack is going to be amazing. I think he's going to be able to play passes through, set everyone up, find space as he does all over the pitch. And it's going to be a nightmare as well for defenders. So Müller's probably going to have 10 goals, 10 assists by the end of the season.
I like that. I like that. I like the wink too. The other thing, I thought you were going to go. So just so you know, you lined up with our Jimmy Brennan, whose technical difficulties has taken him away from the virtual studio. But I thought you were going to lean into LAFC because of Dennis Bwanga's frosted tips. He always seems to bring those out around playoff time, and I think they make a difference for him. So
yeah. That could be it. I'll talk to the Whitecaps and see if they
are there anyone on the Whitecaps with frosted tips?
Not yet.
Who does the hair? No.
All right. Because that would be a difference maker. I know what you're like. The Spider-Man pointing at each other, your sources and frosted tips are high on your level for changing your mind.
I think Colin Miller
that's all I need.
Colin Miller?
Yeah, did he?
I think at one point he had frosted tips, no question. He'll deny it. He'll deny it.
Oh, so did I, though. I had it too.
Oh, did you really?
Oh, in the 90s, yeah. Yeah.
You too?
There you go, JC, as well.
I had it a couple years ago.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
No
He
joke.
used to be super blonde.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. He was leaning away from his organic ginger look, and it was quite blonde.
I definitely had frosted tips.
See, there you go. Everyone.
Yeah.
Wonger, no?
No.
Come on.
Why not?
I think, if anybody listening out there wants to see Wonger with frosted tips, I'm sure we could get a sponsor.
Yeah, we could actually. Yeah. Just for tips instead of just for men.
L'Oreal. Just the tip with Wonger.
Asa, what do you have coming up? Tell us, promo yourself while we're just about to wrap up.
Yeah, calling the next Whitecaps match against San Jose, so you can catch that one. That's on 7:30 CKNW. Our pregame's at 7 o'clock. The pregame show's been great. Chatting with Manuel Vets, so one of the sources, if you're putting it all together, of transfer market. Sticking to the theme. Yeah, so catch our pregame, catch the match. Hopefully another good result for the Vancouver Whitecaps. Last game was a couple weeks ago, 3-0 win over SKC. The team's still doing so well, and yeah, it's really structured well. So can't wait for that one. And yeah, and then the rest of the season. Always catch us on 7:30 CKNW.
Nice. And Global BC, it's obvious that it's getting play when you're getting Axel Schuster on your show, right?
Yeah, all of it. That's another one. That's a good point. I think I was search for Thomas Müller or something the other day. As you do, you wake up and you search Thomas Müller. That's what we do in Vancouver. It's part of our routine. And yeah, one of the global videos came up, was like towards the top. I'm like, this is great. You know, one of the interviews I did to the top of the search. So it's no, it's good that getting so much attention right now, and it's good for business.
Yeah, and I love seeing your lovely face out there doing your thing. It's amazing.
Thanks, buddy. I love getting recognized because of Footy Prime. So thanks for having me on, man. That's the best. Asa, I know you from Footy Prime. That's so good.
That is a I'm not sure if that's a hallmark or an indictment, but it's one of the two.
It's good.
Well, thanks so much for jumping on with us, and everybody else. Thank you for subscribing and listening and commenting. Please do it again. Please continue doing it on YouTube, on Apple, on Spotify. Give the little podcast that could a chance to keep going all through the next couple of years. Anyways, thank you for listening. Keep buying newspapers. And Asa Rehman, thanks for jumping on with us.